A lot of us use the morning commute to get a few moments of peace before the stress of the day begins. But what do you do when the morning commute is full of stressful driving and road rage? Check out these horrific stories of regular people who get caught in a road rage nightmare. 6-year-old Aiden Leos lost his life on the 55 freeway in the city of Orange, California in May 2021. He was hit by a stray bullet in the early morning hours as he rode to school in the back of his mom's car. Witnesses say the boy and his mother, Joanna Clunan, changed lanes when a white Volkswagen Golf sport wagon driven by a woman with a man in the passenger seat passed her. As Aiden and his mom traveled on, the Volkswagen slowed beside them. The man on the passenger side fired into the back of their car, hitting Aiden. His mom pulled over to the shoulder of the road where witnesses stopped to check on her and Aiden. She was hysterical, obviously, and we didn't know what happened right away. It took a bit to figure that her son got shot. Aiden's mom told the police that she didn't understand what happened at first. Aiden complained of a stomach ache, and she pulled over to tend to him.
And he said, "Mommy, my tummy hurts." So she went and she picked him up.
A reward of $320,000 was offered for any information leading to an apprehension of the culprits. Marcus Anthony Erez, 24, and his girlfriend, Win Lee, 23, were arrested in May 2021 and are expected to be charged with Aiden's death. They're currently being held on bail of $1 million each. Caitlin Marie Kaufman was driving to her job as a nurse in early December 2020 when shots rang out across the interstate. Moments later, her car coasted to a stop on the shoulder of the road next to a guardrail. When a policeman drove up to investigate, he discovered she had been fatally hit by a bullet. She was slumped over the steering wheel and several holes riddled the side of the car. He extricated her from the car and delivered CPR to no avail. When ambulances arrived, they knew she had already passed on. Police had no leads and little information to go on. The community was stunned at the senseless act that took the life of a selfless nurse who worked tireless hours in the intensive care unit of St. Thomas West Hospital in Nashville. Local tips flooded police headquarters, and local businesses chipped in to offer a $65,000 reward. Soon, they had their first lead and the possible location of the gun used in the incident. Devontae Hill was apprehended by police on December 4, 2020, at his apartment complex in East Nashville. They brought him in for questioning when he gave statements implicating himself in the of Kaufman. In addition to the confession, police were able to find the gun, and ballistics testing linked it to Kaufman with 100% certainty. His cell phone also pinged in the area at the time of the incident. A second culprit, James Cowan, was arrested in January 2021. Investigators believe he was the one driving the car when Devontae Hill fired at Kaufman's car. Police had been following Cowan's movements for over a month when they eventually caught up with him, his girlfriend, Dementia Carter, and their baby at their Nashville apartment. They found substantial amounts of cash, illicit narcotics, and guns during the arrest. His girlfriend admitted to helping him hide from the police. Investigators confiscated the couple's cell phones and were able to get a glimpse into how they lived. Photos show Hill in the passenger side of his girlfriend's car brandishing a gun. There were also videos of a gang-themed birthday party. Both Hill and Carter were indicted for charges related to Kaufman. They are still awaiting arraignment. A North Carolina mom of 6, Julie Eberly, was the casualty in a road rage incident while on a family vacation to celebrate her anniversary in May 2021. Julie was in the passenger side of the car as her husband Ryan drove along I-95 south. He told police that he accidentally cut someone off in traffic, causing them to drive into the shoulder of the road. A few moments later, that car, driven by 29-year-old Dejuan Floyd, pulled up on the passenger side of Eberly's car, rolled down his window, and fired, hitting Julie Eberly. I saw him coming up on my right side and heard gunfire. She called my name. I asked if she was hit, and she said yes. Ryan Eberly pulled over onto the shoulder and called for emergency responders. Julie Eberly passed away before she could get to the hospital. Investigators used security cameras to identify Floyd's car. which eventually led to his arrest, he is still awaiting trial. Isaac Mendoza was a 21-year-old car enthusiast who loved to participate in car shows and meetups. What he loved most of all was the street racing scene in Houston, Texas. It was at one of these group meetups and races that Isaac Mendoza met his end at the hands of a losing racer. Approximately 50 spectators stood around in the 700 block of North Loop West as Isaac and his passenger entered the street race against Christopher Vargas and Andre Matthews. Harsh words were exchanged earlier, but Isaac brushed it off as he lined up for his next race. He raced the engine of his Dodge Charger and took off, but never made it to the finish line. Unhappy with the race results, Vargas and Matthews waited ahead on the road and fired into Isaac's car as he sped past, hitting him in the torso and arm.
One driver was shot and killed. The other driver involved, according to investigators, did leave the scene.
His passenger steered the car to the shoulder of the road and returned fire as the culprit sped away in a burgundy Chrysler 300. Isaac Mendoza passed away at the hospital a few hours later. Police interviewed Isaac's passenger, who gave a description of the culprits and their vehicle. Vargas and Matthews were apprehended 6 months later in May 2021. Vargas is charged with taking the life of Isaac Mendoza, along with several gun charges. Matthews faces several related charges. The trial is still pending. Faisal Koto, 33, of the New York Fire Department, pulled over to the shoulder of the road on the Belt Parkway in Bath Beach in Brooklyn, New York, just before 5 a.m. in early December 2018. He'd just collided with a silver Infiniti and pulled over to confront the other driver. Security cameras revealed the Infiniti pulling up beside Koto's vehicle. Authorities received an emergency call about two men in a heated argument on the side of the road. When they arrived, they found Koto lying beside his car with massive head injuries from a blunt object. Police soon closed in on Joseph Desmond, the owner of the Infiniti. Desmond is a member of the Latin Kings gang who had recently been paroled and was on supervised probation. Investigators say he struck Koto in the side of his head with a baseball bat, causing massive injury. He was jailed in 2018 and is still awaiting trial. This case started a probe into the New York Probation Service. In 2020, the probe revealed Desmond's probation officer, Joseph Poser, had not performed the home visits required for his proper supervision. A federal case against Poser is still pending. Road rage is the leading cause of car accidents in the United States. Over 1/3 involve firearms. We see more incidents like these now than ever before. Why do you think road rage incidents have increased in recent years? Let us know your thoughts below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more fresh news content.